Hey pillars, and welcome back to another analysis video. In this video, we're taking a look at how much power it takes to set a new speed record for paris-roubaix, which was set this edition. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So if you're not aware, Dylan van Baarle, spoiler alert, for Ineos has just won paris-roubaix, and this paris-roubaix has set the fastest time in terms of speed. It is the fastest paris-roubaix to date. So taking a look at this article that I have on screen right now, the claimed time for the fastest paris-roubaix, because he did finish ahead of the chasers, is 45.79 kilometers per hour, which is absolutely ludicrous. But obviously, I couldn't get his Strava information, so the closest that we could get is both from Mathieu van der Poel along with Matej Mohoric, which you can see the time difference on screen right now. Mohoric finished in 5 hours 52 minutes, and Mathieu van der Poel finished in 5 hours and 54 minutes. So a 2 minute difference, and that's why their speeds are 44.6 and 44.7 respectively, where if we take a look at Dylan van Baarle's claimed speed, it's 1 kilometer actually faster. And since the times of Matej Mohoric and Mathieu van der Poel are very close to the winner, in terms of power over the whole course of the race, it'll be very, very similar. So it's fine that we don't have the winner's data, but this will give us a very good idea. So I just want to show you guys, break it down. I love doing these videos. Now, just in case you want to see the type of riding that I do, I will plug my Strava, link in the description down below. Feel free to follow. But right now we're taking a look at Mathieu van der Poel's paris-roubaix stats. So I'll break it down. I love doing this because it's very interesting to see what the pros are doing. So 263 kilometers in length, 5 hours and 53 minutes, 1,365 meters of elevation. And comparing it to Matej Mohoric, it's very, very close. It's funny, from some GPS systems and head units, things change depending on how they map it. But he spent 53 minutes climbing, which is 15% of the time in the race. 181 beats per minute was his best 20-minute heart rate, so he was definitely on the limit. 51 kilometers, it was his best 20-minute speed. Average climbing speed was 38.1 kilometers. Obviously, these are short climbs, so it's going to be pretty fast. His cadence, that's impressive to see. 96 median cadence. If we take a look at Matej Mohoric's, median cadence is the way to go. I remember back when I started cycling in 2015, I was trying to copy Chris Froome's high cadence, and every race I would go to, or every criterium, people would roast me and be like, no, it's all about low torque cadence. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's funny, the pros adopt the best. So obviously 96 is pretty high coming from Mathieu van der Poel. Normalized power that this system claims with this formula is 317 watts for 5 hours and 53 minutes. That's insane. I always like to say this, my best 20-minute power, which would be my 1 hour power, is roughly 340, 350 watts. So the fact that he can hold 317 for 6 hours is absolutely crazy. His best 20-minute power was 342, and his weighted average power for the whole day was 303 watts. So very impressive. Obviously, we're more focused on normalized power. So 315. We have his claimed FTP of 437, which is definitely a cyborg. He is 75 kilograms, and like we already know, the speed, 44.6 kilometers was the average speed, 73.4 kilometers was the max. Today's temperature, 12 degrees, humidity, not that bad. It's always funny because even 12 degrees, I would say, is pretty chilly, but when you're racing, your body heats up so much, so you can pretty much race with short sleeves. A lot of KOMs were claimed. When you compare that to Matej Mohoric's, not the same. So he's definitely on some beast mode in terms of KOM snatching. Now, quickly taking a look at peak power, these are the power splits. I'm obviously more interested in the 1 hour and 3 hours. So basically 300 watts, just insane. Power curve right now, if we're taking a look, his max power basically was 1,363 watts. And basically, past 20 minutes is just in race pace on cobbles. That's insane. So I want to show one more thing in terms of the analysis. So the one point of the race, I actually made a note when I was doing my race recap, where I wanted to see his power was basically when he got dropped by Wout van Aert, which was trying to bridge across to Dylan van Baarle. So basically, he was pushing around just during this section on average, I would say high 300s, 370 easily. And then he tries to respond by going up to 722 watts, and he keeps holding that. But it's just, right here is where he basically gave up, I would say, where he just couldn't hold it. He drops all the way down to no watts, and he's pushing 250, where he goes back to normal. So it was really hard for him to respond. I don't think Mathieu van der Poel had it in his legs today. He was obviously playing a lot more reserved. But in terms of the last, I want to see the velodrome in terms of his max power wasn't even in the velodrome. So this is where a lot of the spikes happened, where I think a lot of the initial attacks happened, which is 1,321 watts. So obviously, if we take a look at Matej Mohoric's power as well, he has something around, it's a different section, I'm pretty sure. It did happen at the same one. This happened at 146 kilometers, and this one happened at, his max power was at 100 kilometers. So within the velodrome, they were pushing around 1,000 watts when it came down to the sprint, but roughly high plus 600, 700 watts for the finale, and then basically 400 on the, well, he actually didn't even sprint at the end. And when Mathieu van der Poel got onto the velodrome, he didn't even go above 500 watts, so obviously he didn't really care at that point. He just wanted to finish, so he finished basically with 250 watts. So that basically wraps it up in terms of how many watts it takes to set the fastest speed in Paris-Roubaix, and it is roughly 310 watts or plus for 6 hours. So definitely a bonker, cyborg, astronomical day on the bike for a majority of these riders to actually set that speed, and just shows you how much the advances in technology in terms of skin suits, in terms of bike tech, all that stuff, just increasing the speed. So it'd be interesting to see if, just thinking off the top of my head, if speeds like this could be achieved back by older riders if they had the same technology, but we'll never know. So obviously things are just getting faster, which makes the racing more dynamic. So I enjoy watching it. I hope you guys appreciated this video. If you guys want me to make more of these videos, I will be doing it for my training. So like I said at the beginning, if you guys want to follow my training, link in the description to my Strava. But I'm going to make more videos like this in the upcoming future, especially when I start riding outside. So if you guys did like it, just smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and until the next one, keep on pedaling.